Hello traders, today is Monday, January 20th, 2025. Quite an eventful day, to be honest. I'm going to start the video with AMD. As a quick reminder, this is not financial advice. This content is for educational purposes only. Please make sure to do your own research before you risk your money in any type of investments. Well, the inauguration is behind us, which is great. As I mentioned in some videos, I had my own concerns about it, but that now that this is behind, I think that the market is going to start pushing, at least this week, and maybe next week as well. We might have a nice rally, and this is going to benefit all of us, unless you have puts or you're short in the market. But anyways, let's get into what AMD is showing. We closed on Friday with this move going over this level of resistance of 121. Yet I do think that we're still in the weeds on AMD. Now, this might be a reversal move. Maybe it is. I do think that we need more momentum and volume coming into the 35 SMA and then mounting the 35 SMA and then going into resistance at 134. That is quite important. Now, why am I considering the 35 SMA as a level of resistance right now? It's because you had this move right here once and twice. And then also when you broke it here to the downside, it was quite violent going to the downside. Then you broke that 325 SMA, which is this one. And then you actually continue going into what we saw last week. Now, I do think that if there is momentum and the market starts pushing, we are going to see a nice move towards the 35 SMA. If we mount it, I think it's going to be easier to break the 134 resistance level. You also have a low level of liquidity right on this level of resistance. MACD and TSI are looking pretty good in my opinion. Well, I shouldn't say pretty good. They're looking better than how they were looking back on Monday of last week, 7 days ago. RSI is pointing up. And then the TSI is already forming a little bit of divergence. Right here, the histogram is also telling you story. And there was a little bit of volume coming into AMD. Let's go take a look at the 5-minute really quick. You had this push pre-market, you open, and then it got flat throughout the rest of the day. We'll see what happens this week. I'm intrigued. I would love to see this moving faster to the upside. I do have calls on AMD. And, it will be interesting if we actually see a nice move towards the 35 SMA. I think it's critical to mount the 35 SMA. So that's a level that I personally keeping an eye on. Now, let's move on and take a look at Bitcoin. And let me take a note on Bitcoin real quick. Interesting candles. We actually hit a new level of, new all-time highs. At some point today, I think it was early in the morning. And, I've been following the inauguration, so I wasn't looking. But one of the things that people are a little bit concerned, and this is hence the move that you got here, is Trump didn't mention crypto during his speech. I think that is fine. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to cover every single aspect of what he's planning to do. I think he was in a very, I guess, subtle way. He was trying to throw jabs at the Democrats and, and at the same time giving hope to people and maybe pushing a little bit or announcing his agenda. That being said, as part of the agenda, crypto wasn't on that message, and it seems like the market or, this side of the market didn't like it. I'm not too worried about it. My price target for Bitcoin, as I said in prior videos, is 120 before March. Now we hit 109 at some point today, which means that my price target might be very conservative, meaning we might actually go over 120 way sooner than March. Now we have month and a half or 40 days to get to March, but we'll see. Now this candle, yes, you had a nice push and then sellers came back in, but now you're climbing back up. MACD and TSI are not looking bad at all. Volume is there. And we'll see what happens between the rest of the day and what happens after we open, the market itself tomorrow. Now, we're still trading, and that's what I'm saying. We do have low liquidity here, which is fine. I'd rather build more liquidity here and then have a nice push to the upside, but I do think that we're going to break this level at 108, which was prior all-time highs, and then break the new all-time highs that we saw early this morning. Again, MACD, TSR not looking bad, volume is there, so I'm not too worried about what we might see. If we break support at 99, then you have to keep an eye on the 35 SMA, but you can maybe cool down towards towards 90, which at this point really I see that is unlikely, at least for this week. I could be wrong, but at least for this week, I think that Bitcoin is either going to range between these two areas, between 100 and 109 or 108, or maybe break and continue going up. Very nice setup for Bitcoin. Since I have this list right here, I think that all of these names are probably going to push really hard next week. We'll see how markets react. Anyways, now let's talk about where are you? Global Health. And this keeps moving. Seems like it lost a little bit of momentum on Friday, which is fine, I think. RSI is already overbought. Would be nice if you actually get a retest on 390 and then continue moving towards 430. I really like the fact that in the prior 2 weeks we had very nasty days, very red days, and Clover, one way or another, actually managed to continue moving to the upside. That was pretty nice. We have this little double bottom right here on the one on the daily chart, and then you continue going to the upside. I do think that you might have a little bit of move to the downside. I do think that tomorrow the market is going to be green, to be honest, but or you might actually get a continuation towards 430. I like this name because it's been moving, very consistently to the upside. I think management is doing what they are supposed to do. And I also think that, the fact that nobody's talking about it yet is also a good sign. It's moving to the upside very, very slowly and without actually getting any attention from the market itself. Now let's move on to the next name, and that would be CRM. I haven't mentioned CRM in a long time. I don't know exactly when was the last time I've seen this, but I think this is setting up very nicely to the upside. Now you have the MACD and the TSI. They're starting to curl under the zero line, which I love to see. If we break, or if by tomorrow we are crossing the signal line, that's very bullish. In that case, you're probably going to go through the 35 SMA like nothing, and then meet resistance at 347.7, let's say 348, which is a priority. It's 348 because it's going to last a little bit longer. It was too much. Well, let's say 349. It's looking very nice in my opinion. There might be an opportunity here. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to the upside next week. CRM definitely is looking good. Look at the histogram right here. Look at volume. And then also look how these lower indicators are starting to curl into their signal lines. The RSI is already there. Now, you had a lot of red in this area. Let's take a look at the 5 minute. But it's pretty choppy. I'm not too worried about it. It closed at 1.43% on Friday. I think momentum is going to come into this name. I really like it. CRM, keep it on your list. Now, also check my last video, which was posted on Saturday. I talk about other names that are also looking pretty good. Let's cover Home Depot. It's another name that I haven't mentioned, I believe, in a while, but it's worth mentioning. I do think that this name is going to break resistance at 417 and then continue going up. Let's put a line right there, and let's go to the weekly. I just want to see something. This is looking good. Look at the weekly chart. It's looking very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. MACD and TSI are looking up under the histogram and under the zero line, my bad. And the RSI looks a little bit, neutral, which is fine. You have relatively low levels of liquidity in this area. I think, again, if you break resistance, you're going to move. Man, there is a lot of I want to buy so many different names. But this is looking good. You're over the 35 SMA. Your level right here is this, 417. After that, you can move. Low liquidity. That's a good sign. Now let's take a look at our friends in Meta. And this is another name that is looking pretty decent. It was the worst performer on Friday out of the Magnificent Seven, which is fine. We might actually find a little bit of red tomorrow on Meta, I think. And the reason is because the TikTok ban didn't go through. But at the same time, I do believe that Meta is going to benefit out of this administration with TikTok or without. Now, if we come down towards 600, which is this level of support, that's fantastic. But if you rally, you're going to break all-time highs and start moving. As I mentioned before, once Meta starts making a move, it's really giving. I like to trade this name. MACD and TSI are over the zero line and kind of like in a neutral position, but there is a possibility that tomorrow we might actually get some red on Meta. I don't know if I'm gonna trade Meta tomorrow. Probably not. I'm probably gonna be more on Amazon, Tesla, and some other names. But CRM, as I mentioned before, is looking pretty good as well. But I do think that there is definitely an opportunity here. Let's really hope that we get red and we actually retest support at 603. Maybe at that point there is an opportunity to get back in. Now, if things get very reddish for a Meta, we might get a nice move to the downside towards this area right here, which is 585. Again, things right here in the lower indicators are looking neutral, so I'm not too worried about it. But Meta is not one of those names that I think is going to rally. I could be wrong, but I'm not sure if it's going to rally tomorrow. I'm very bullish for tomorrow, as you can tell. Now, let's talk about Netflix. And it's not looking bad. This is not just like CRM. Look at the lower indicators. This is very similar to what we had in CRM. Even the chart is looking in this area. It's looking similar. So you break this level of resistance at 875, let's call it, at 874, and we are definitely going to move. We're definitely going to move. And this is another name that when it moves, it really moves. You can see right here, if you zoom out, we had, I had this call right here, and then this after, this is probably August 5th, yeah, and then you had this, and then you moved again. Look at this thing right here. Beautiful move. Netflix is looking very nice. Now, any call that I'm planning to buy, whether if it's tomorrow or in the future, is going to follow the same rule, which is going to be either dated calls that are at least 6 months away. And I'm actually starting to think that I should probably buy LIBs and see how that works. But for now, I think we're focusing on what I'm talking here on Netflix. I think this is looking very nice. It was up 1.87%. So it probably had a move to the upside and then went down throughout the day. It had a move to the upside and actually got choppy. And then you had a little bit of a sell-off after hours. So not a bad day for Netflix, to be honest. This is looking good. I really like it. And it looks kind of similar to CRM. CRM contracts are probably cheaper than Netflix. Now let's talk about where NQ. And everybody was very, very bearish last week and the prior week, and everybody was thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but everybody was thinking that after this move or somewhere around here, we were just going to continue going down, and I don't blame them. Let's say here on Tuesday the 14th, look how the MACD and the TSI were looking. Terrible. That was scary. one of the things that I mentioned in one of my videos when I was talking about NQ is that if you break to 20, 20.6, 20.7, then you're going to start moving quickly towards 20.3 and maybe even lower than that. But I was also seeing this formation right here, and you had 1, 2, 3, and then you're moving. Now you're over the 35 SMA. You're up, futures are open already, so you're up 0.55%. This thing is gonna rally. I think tomorrow we're really gonna get some opportunities. Yeah. But anyways, look at the MACD now. Look at the TSI. They're looking much different. Look at the RSI as well. So I think we're gonna have a move towards all-time highs in a hurry. That's what I think. This is looking very good. There you have low liquidity here right after this volume shelf. You're gonna encounter low liquidity when volume comes in. Once we open, this thing is gonna move. That's what I think is probably going to happen tomorrow. Now let's take a look at another name that I'm liking, and I did post something about PayPal on X. I did post a chart. That's all I do on X, I guess. But I love seeing this. So it came down to support right here last week, or into last week, at 81.8, or let's call it 82, and then after this retest, boom, you went up. You went over the 35 SMA. You went over resistance at 89 or 90, and now you are sitting right here at 3.25% day for PayPal. This name is looking great. Look at the MACD and the TSI. These are looking very nice. I think this is gonna move next week as well. This is gonna push. Now let's zoom out and see what would be our next level. Bada bing, bada boom. So you have this. Let's see. Let me see if I can find something that is, oh yeah, that is a little bit lower. And you're sitting right on this. You see this? We're sitting right over here. And it's also matching these peaks right here on the chart. Well, we'll see. I'm not gonna put any level right now. I just want to see how this moves. But this is looking very interesting, very intriguing. I think PayPal is gonna start moving again. What a nice setup. I love the MACD and the TSI. They're a little bit over the zero line, but close enough for me to feel comfortable to say that we are gonna continue this move. This is looking very nice. Now let's move on to Rocket Lab. And somebody on X, I was posting that this consolidation here, which I like. Let's get rid of this. Remember when we were here, I took calls right on this red candle, and I sold somewhere around here, and then there were more opportunities, but that was kind of risky, and that's why I left. You want to see this breaking resistance. Now, I posted this on X, this setup on X, and I was mentioning that you have to maintain this level of support at 22.5, which is true. MACD and TSI are not looking too good, but somebody replied to my post saying that they are up 7% on Germany. Now, that's not a great indicator, meaning that doesn't mean that we're going to move that hard here in the US, but that, I don't know, that's a good omen, I guess, for lack of a better term. We have to maintain this level at 22.5, and then if we rebound, and it seems like we're going to, then we have to break 28.32. Again, I've been playing this move right here in anticipation, which I thought this was going to continue moving, but it didn't. But I think this is about to come. This is looking very nice. I love the fact that this moved like this, and then these indicators, the MACD and the TSI and the RSI, cooled off enough without breaking this consolidation level. That is really good. So that reminds me of GEV, which is a name that I mentioned. Reddit, RDDT, is also having a very similar setup. And to be honest, even Robinhood had a setup like this. So I think if this breaks, this is gonna move very nicely. I can't wait for tomorrow to see all the setups that we have. So Rocket Lab, keep it in your shortlist. Now let's take a look at our friends of SPY, and this is not looking bad at all. And this is what we're seeing from Friday. So if we wanna, okay, let's take this candle. This is not looking bad. So you came down into support at 574, and that was Monday. Yes, and then just like was it NQ? Now I need to go back. No, I think it was. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, so you came down here to go back to SPY. I do think that we are definitely gonna have a nice move to the upside tomorrow. I mean, futures already are telling you that you're over the 35 SMA. You're gonna move towards 608, I think, in a hurry. MACD and TSI looking fantastic. These are looking good. Under the zero line, about to cross the signal line. RSI is already there. I said that in other names already. That's basically the same language that I used. I do think that we're gonna get into this level of resistance. Let's see how we behave on that level. But other than that, this is not looking bad at all. There's definitely opportunity. We're going into 609. And let's finish this video with SQ. And why am I mentioning SQ is because I think if Bitcoin rallies, this thing is going to rally as well. Look at the MACD and the TSI, very similar to other names that I mentioned in this video. Under the zero line, about to cross the signal lines, and the RSI is already crossing the signal line. Now the RSI in this case a little bit more neutral. There's not a lot of momentum, and but what I think is that we are definitely going to continue to the upside. Now let's zoom out on Square, and this is not looking bad at all. Now let me see if there is a level that actually can give us a little bit of more color. Oh yeah, I'm gonna use this and see how that works. Normally I tend to wait, but I want to see. I do think that this name can actually move very nicely, and again, I do think that there is a lot of opportunities for trading. So we have this, and this, and then we have that. It works. Okay, fantastic. So we'll see how we move. You got to mount the 35 SMA probably by tomorrow, and then after that you're going into resistance at 99, or let's say at 100. Beautiful. MACD and TSI is looking very good. Again, you have another video that I recorded on Saturday. I mentioned other names. I mentioned Reddit, Tesla, Hems, Triple M, Nike, Palantir, QQQ, blah, blah, blah. Again, thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. And then also give us a like and comment if you want me to, how you call it? To check on some charts. I'm more than happy to actually have a conversation or actually check some of your charts for you. Other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Be excited. I think that we might probably have a very nice rally into this week, and probably a continuation for next week. Things are looking bright. Thank you so much. Bye bye.